you're in it because you need to heal something and learn something, and until you actually get the lesson, you're gonna repeat it with the next guy. That's the work, in a way, is like to not shame yourself or blame yourself or feel bad if you're in a situation like this. It's like, okay, super, I'm here now. If you get the right support and have the tools and you can heal the dynamic in yourself, then you get to take an evolutionary leap through this. I want to take away the like, this is good and this is bad.
Hello guys, welcome back to the Daily Humans podcast. I'm Nina.
And I'm Ashley.
And today we are so excited to be here with a very special guest. Her work lives at the intersection of astrology, emotional alchemy, feminine and masculine polarity, and guiding people out of survival mode and back into their soul essence, which is beautiful and perfect, especially in love and relationship. So welcome to the podcast, Charlotte. We're so happy to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm really excited to talk with you both and explore some things together.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. But before we start off, before we dive into, all the rich and layered themes you explore, what's something fun or meaningful that you've been up to lately? If you feel free to share.
Yeah, I would love to. Well, recently I just came back from a sort of community festival, and I really love going to festivals because it's a place to just experience and explore the different archetypes that I have inside of me, and to, not put myself into a box of who I am, to who I think I'm supposed to be or who I try to be, but just like who I really feel like being in each moment. And it's this lovely experience of you don't know anyone, you can wear whatever you want, and there's like costumes and play. So I just came back from an event like this where I was actually doing my astrology and emotional healing sessions for the people inside the festival.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's amazing. That
And
sounds so exciting.
it was really exciting, and it was the first time I'd ever done it in this kind of context. And it was really amazing because oftentimes at social gatherings, triggers come up, questions come up, situations come up. So it was beautiful to be there and for people to have a place to come to say, hey, like, can you help me process this situation? And so it was like real time healing in the forest, other people around, just kind of like a fun collaborative experience. So yeah, that's something I've been up to recently that was really nourishing me.
That sounds absolutely incredible.
Yes.
I think it's also maybe fun to mention that you are based in Portugal right now. So there's a lot of nature, a lot of really beautiful scenery there to be had. And to hear that you had such a great time to really explore, like you said, all the archetypes within, because it's something that Ash and I have talked about prior in episodes as well. It's just the world can feel a little bit stifling sometimes. And to be able to explore outside of the box or the limitations that I don't want to say all of society, but a large part of society still lives in is really freeing and beautiful. And I hope for more of that for you, that you can get to help more people, that you get to explore all those versions of yourself, because that's awesome. That's how we grow as individuals,
Yeah.
Are there a lot of these festivals where you're located?
Yeah, I would say there's a handful in Portugal, Germany, Netherlands, Spain. There's I could count maybe 5 to 10 ones that I know about that exist that are kind of in this style. This one was a bit specific because it was a smaller festival, so it was about 1,500 people, and it felt, it was like you go somewhere and you run into the same people easily. You're not lost in the sea of people. So, yeah.
How do you go into a space like a festival and feel grounded in such a festival has a lot of people. Even 1,500 people is a lot to a lot of people. I mean, how do you walk into that space and be centered?
Oh, I love this question. Um, yeah, I for me, what I have learned over the years of continually putting myself outside of my comfort zone in social situations, going to trainings that I was like, "Oh my god, I don't know if I can do this," or like, am
Mhm.
I advanced enough to do this?" Or like just going to the edge in a lot of different ways. I have learned that the most important thing is to just keep turning my gaze inward. Like every 10 seconds, I'm like, stop and like go in, stop and go in. And I just do my very best to inner navigate the space and just follow where is really my natural impulse to sit. Where is my natural impulse to eat something? And I find that by doing that, I continually keep my center with myself. And also, I like to use this language because this is also something that I teach is about how to be centered, because the opposite of being centered is being adaptive. So being
Mm,
centered is when you have all of your energy and attention with you, and you move from the place of inside of you, and you're not giving away your energy to other people and then adapting based on what they're doing or not doing. So when you walk
Mm.
into a festival, what most people do is they see everyone and they throw their center away, and then they're immediately starting to
Yeah.
change and adapt and try to look or move in a way that you get approved by all of these people.
mhm,
Or maybe it's just one person that you notice and you're like, "Oh my god, I feel something." And then, "Okay, I gotta look a certain way." So it's a natural, like, survival strategy actually to give away the center because it makes you feel safe of, "Okay, I'm welcome here. They like me. Okay, okay." And, that will lead you away from actually feeling like you're in the right place or you're with the right people, and it quickly could get you in kind of a situation where you're like, "Oh, these aren't really my friends," or I'm not really resonating. But when you keep your center and you use your anger energy to really hold it, say, "Okay, no, like, I'm keeping my center. However many times I have to stop and close my eyes and, like, really just connect in, I'm gonna do it in order to stay on my path inside of this event."
wow.
Wow. I
Yeah.
literally thought about the amount of times when you leave the house and you step into a space with a lot of people, and the first thing that you do is everything's external. You go external and you don't remain centered. You don't go within self. And you're watching, and it's out of survival mode, obviously. You're
Yeah.
just hyper aware of the environment and people. What are they doing? What are they thinking? What's happening here, here, here? And just to take that second of coming back inwards, bringing yourself back in, I thought, yes, it's so true. Just taking that couple 10 seconds to just back to self, center, just to keep bringing it back in. That, yeah, that gave me like a ding moment. So thank you for
Wow.
that.
Yeah, amazing. And when I hear you say that, it's like this is also a part of the feminine principle is that you as a woman are a magnet. So your job is to
Mm,
radiate your own energy and let things come to you. So when you go out into the world and you're looking, it's actually this kind of energetic leak of trying to get something, right?
yeah,
And
Mm,
when you shift that, if you shift that and you really from the inside radiate out and you just hold that, then you let things happen and you get to then receive the energy of the space
yeah.
and move from a different place.
Already, we haven't even fully begun, and already you're dropping a ton of wisdom. Like it's incredible. But all right, let's start from the beginning. Much of your work, as you said, is helping people come back to their present self, to their essence. However, due to obviously our own personal experiences, we know that that kind of clarity usually begins in some kind of place of unraveling. Would you be open to sharing a moment in your life when just the status quo, the survival strategy stopped working for you, and when this deeper calling began to call you forward, really?
Hmm. Wow, yes, thank you. There have been many times in my life where I've hit this point where the current survival strategy wasn't working anymore, and I
Mhm.
was starting to spin loose because it felt like I'm circling back on myself, and it's like, like I'm just repeating this, I'm repeating this, I'm repeating this, and this feeling of like I have to break out, break out, break out, and I think one of the more specific ones that I want to share is in regards to relationships with men. And
Mm,
I had found myself in a dynamic where, and it was interesting because my previous dynamics I didn't notice it, or I didn't trigger it, but somehow with this specific person it triggered this pattern of really giving away my center. So it was like I gave him my center like we talked about in the beginning, and then whatever he was
mm,
doing or not doing was affecting me. So if he
yes.
seemed
Mm.
kind of grumpy, I was panicking. If he seemed like maybe he didn't like me anymore, I was just like like really in this zone. And it had started to get so intense for me that he eventually was like, "Whoa, I'm like I feel trapped because I really had hooked into his energy." And I think this was this moment where he basically like he kind of took a break with me, or like broke up with me, and in this moment I really wanted to blame him, and I wanted to like just kill him energetically, like like fuck you, could you do this to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I knew on a deeper, I could feel on a deeper level, like, shit, this is really my, like, I created this. Like, I really created this kind of situation. And that was a moment when I had to go really deep into uncovering the emotional root of this pattern. Like, why was it so painful for me to let him just be? And why was I so hooked into him and what he was doing or not doing? And why did I need him like this? Like, why was I so attached? And it sent me on this journey of this really big reclamation of myself. Um, so yeah, that was kind of one of those moments that was a big like wake up, like, oh fuck, I'm sabotaging my own relationship.
Wow. I think a lot of us can definitely relate to that experience. I definitely can. You know, when you are, I don't know if it was the same for you, but like typically when I've been single, I've been like, oh yeah, I'm great. I'm totally enjoying my energy. I feel really good. And then you get into a relationship and it starts off good, but then eventually you just, like you said, you become so attached. And it's so important to find the difference between attachment and loving and
Mm,
giving healthy love while also staying within yourself and who you are and what your purpose is and what you need to do with yourself in your life and not give all of that away to a partner or even work situations. A lot of people have unhealthy relationships with environments, or not just people but also places and things and achievements and things they want to accomplish in life. But the fact that you had that awareness of like, man, I feel like I contributed a lot to the downfall of this current relationship. How can I kind of go on a journey to reclaim myself, as you said in your words, is amazing. The fact that you had that kind of clarity, the fact that you made the decision to go into that and embark on that journey, because it's not easy. I'm sure you will let us know, but it's not an easy thing to do.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'd like to ask how you came to that clarity. It takes a lot for people to get to the point of seeing sort of their own
Mm,
contribution to the space. So, how
right.
did you get to the point of seeing this yourself?
Mm. Okay, yes. So before the downfall, I had already this distinction about being centered or giving away my center. So I
Mhm.
already was really implementing this in other areas of my life, like with my friendship, with my family, with, colleagues or things like this, and I was really starting to understand this concept of, like, when I'm centered and when I'm giving away my center. So,
Yeah.
it was like I already had this awareness, but with him, it was like my one blind spot. It was like the one place where I was still doing it, but I was thinking I wasn't doing or even pretending I wasn't doing it or hoping I wasn't doing it. But because he was really representing like the masculine in my life, it was the most um uh, difficult one to untangle basically because it was like the final attachment. It's like if I'm not attached to him, then there's nothing, you know?
Mm.
Mm.
And so I think for me I realized it because also I realized it because I know that my emotions, my pain are mine to process. And when he said that to me and it hurt so bad, I was like, "Oh, this is so my problem.
Mm.
This is my problem." Like, he has his problem with how I'm behaving, and that's his problem, and I have a problem inside of me that I feel so like I'm dying without him, that's
Mm.
my problem. So, yeah, I think it's because I had already these distinctions and it also I had this commitment in myself to take responsibility for my side of the road.
Yeah.
And I actually that was a new thing for me because before then I sort of had this feeling of like, okay, I'm a woman, I'm a divine goddess sort of, and like men kind of suck, and then like I know better usually, and I'm more evolved generally than them, and I have to teach them, or like that was a little bit of this energy that I had, and I really didn't want to like take feedback from him specifically or like from men. I was like, well, I know better. That was kind of like my survival strategy was like knowing better. And
Mhm.
so when it triggered me so bad, I was like, "Ah, this, like, really hurts in a way where I feel like I can no longer say, 'Oh, it's his fault,' or, like, I know better than him." I was like, "Maybe this is really a moment for me to, like, eat a piece of humble pie and really, like, take this feedback that actually I'm doing something here. It's not all I'm perfect and, I'm, a woman, more evolved, like, actually, maybe I'm doing something here that's not so great." And I had never had this experience before of a man really confronting me, because before I think most men were scared to confront me, that they would hurt me or, like, I wouldn't be able to take it. Because before I wouldn't be able to take it. I couldn't take feedback basically, and so I was, yeah, ready to face this and take the feedback um and I think the other thing is also I have a lot of support. I have a lot of other women who do this work with me, and so when it happened, I was like, "This is what's happening. What do you see that's happening?" And they were like,
Mm.
"Oh, this is what's happening." So I got feedback also from other women who were on the outside that could kind of help me to, like, come to terms with the situation.
That's
Yeah.
really powerful. Wow. I don't know. Did you want to say something, Ash? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, no, no. I
No.
just think that it's significantly important to see self in a lot of the connections that we have. And I wanted to ask you what kind of guidance, because I do think this is so significant, what kind of guidance could you give to people, especially during such a difficult situation to be in when love is involved? What kind of guidance can you give to show people why it's important to also see self as well through these situations?
Yeah, uh, the guidance. I think the guidance that comes through me to say is that, um, if you can, really allow the feedback from the other person to penetrate you and actually, like, I guess the guidance would be, like, ask the person that you're with, "What is my blind spot?"
Mm.
Because until you get the feedback directly from them, like, they see you better than you see you. So everyone has a blind spot. And for example, you're the only one who can't see it, but you too can see my blind spots and I can see your blind spots, like hypothetically. And
Yeah.
so if you're in a relationship with someone and you're not sure, like, what's mine, what's yours, you know, the guidance is like to actually go into the space more and say like, hey, what am I missing here? Like where am I, how am I creating this? What do you think I'm doing?
Mm.
And to not internalize it to a point of like self-deprecation, but to allow it in enough to say, okay, I'm gonna take responsibility for my part of this because it always takes two people, you know?
Mm.
Um, it's like I could say, okay, so he's being like aloof, or he's like he seems not that interested, or he's kind of avoidant, and I could blame him for that and say, oh, and that's why I'm anxious, and that's why I'm you know nervous, or like feeling uncomfortable or unsafe or whatever. And then I blame him. Or I could really look at it and say, okay, wow, he's behaving like this and I'm behaving, who started doesn't matter, but I'm also choosing to adapt to that way of being. But what if I did not change the way I was moving, because of how he's moving, and I let the energetics move because of my choice to become more secure in myself, or to ask for what I want, or to clarify my needs, or to take care of myself.
You're not enmeshing anymore. You're not, like you said, blaming the other person for the current situation. You're taking responsibility and then saying, where does this come from? And how can I vocalize my, like you said, your needs and, how you want to be not only in the relationship and how you want to feel in the relationship, but also for yourself. That's really powerful.
Mm.
That's amazing. I would like to ask, because you did mention it a little bit ago, what are some, if you have any, the most subtle or even surprising ways that you've seen survival modes or strategies shape the way women experience love, dating, and or self-worth?
Wow, these are amazing questions. Okay, so I would say the main one that I see is people pleasing, and in a way being small or hiding. So a lot of women think that if they just, hide themselves, they don't really say the truth, they adapt, like we were talking about,
Mhm.
that it's really not such a bad thing. It's not really, it's harmless. But actually it's a subtle form of manipulation. Because when you don't really speak what's true for you, and you a bit lie, or you say it's okay, or you don't really, own what you want. So this is a survival strategy, that you stay kind of like docile and sort of like ferocious, unthreatening, then you will be accepted by the pack. You will be he will choose you, he will love you, or things like this.
Yeah.
So that survival strategy, in order for you to like keep it going, you have to use your shadow to to control the situation. So it actually turns into a form of manipulation, and a form of lying, and a form of pretending.
Mm.
Wait, did that answer the question, or is there
Yeah,
another
yeah,
way?
yeah.
Okay, okay.
Definitely. You answered the question. No worries. I was just
Yeah.
thinking, it's like, yeah, a lot of people I've seen it in my friendships, but or past friendships, I should say, but like even within myself, uh you play small in order to not get hurt. But in the end, the cost of you not vocalizing your needs, who you are, what you want, and going after it, even with facing the potential of conflict or people disagreeing or not liking whatever, um,
Yeah.
the cost of that is so much greater than to bear the uncomfortability of walking that path. And
Mm.
like you said, a lot of women have learned to play small, to be mute, and to not stand in their power because I don't know, it could be ancestral, could be generational trauma. I'm not sure. I'm sure it's different for everybody, but it's something that definitely needs to start changing. The feminine, the divine feminine needs to come in, and it's
Mm.
not just about being nice and meek and making everybody else feel comfortable. It's also about saying, hey, no, this is my boundary, this is what I want, and being angry when anger is necessary. And anger can be a really powerful tool to thrive for yourself and what you need and want for your life, especially as a woman.
Mm.
So yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Being.
Without your anger, you can't hold space for yourself, and you can't create boundaries, and you can't have standards. Like, it's an energy that we all need to embody and access to hold ourselves. Because
Mm,
like you were saying, this path is hard. It's uncomfortable. When you stand up for yourself, you're gonna tremble the first time, you know? And so
Mm.
your anger is there to really help you, like, stay in it.
yeah.
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 Underactive anger is like widespread amongst many of us, widespread.
Oh my
And
god. Yes.
it's been talked about to cause chronic illness, to be one of the things that causes chronic illness. The suppression of that is physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually so harmful beyond what we thought was the reality. So the
Mm.
fact that we're starting to talk about this stuff, I think, is, oh, hallelujah. Because then we can find
Oh.
ways on how to express it in such a healthier manner and realize that the whole "you're too much" thing was really just to silence us in
Mm.
general, to shrink to a more
Mm.
comfortable size for people to swallow and adjust to. But it's like the "that's too much" is linked to such a systematic depression, like suppression, that no one can really live with that. Like, it's a box. Because I think you mentioned it too, it's like a box that you've got to live through. And it's like, who the hell is living through this box happy and healthy as well?
Yes. Yes. Yes, I wanted to add something else to, like, paint the
Yeah.
picture of what happens when you don't use your anger, your energy to stand up for what you want. So, like, for example, let's say he says, "Hey, do you wanna go to the store to this party with me?" And inside of you, you're like, "Well, I wanna go because I sort of wouldn't want you to go alone, and what if something happens? And so I'm gonna go, but I don't really wanna go." And so you say yes, but you really on the inside just had a no. Then you get to
Mm.
the party and you're there and you're starting to be like, "Oh, like, why did I come here? Like, I don't really wanna be here." And then you start to create resentment,
Mm,
and resentment starts to kind of feud in the body. It, like, what's the word? Like, ferments, you know? So it, like, ferments
Festers.
the anger, it festers, yeah, and then it's like
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
you're resenting and you're like, "Oh, like, ugh, why am I here? And this is and I wanna leave." And then it goes to another level, which is then revenge.
mm,
Mm.
Just then you're like,
Yes.
right? You're like, "Oh, okay, now I kinda wanna get revenge on him because he took me to this thing and I didn't really wanna go, and he didn't get it that I didn't wanna go." Right? Because
Mm.
you wanted him to read your mind or your face or your body or, like, know what you needed, right? So that's how you get into this horrible cycle, and then you feel horrible on the inside.
Mm.
And what you're faced with in these moments is either saying no and then being in the uncomfortable emptiness or the aloneness or the not unknown of, like, now I don't know what I'm gonna do with my night, or now I don't know if I'm gonna be alone or not, or it's these small moments that actually feel really big. But over time, if
Mm.
you continue to adapt and to silence what you really feel, even when that's the thing about women too, or like intuition, is that oftentimes it's not making sense. Like, my mind says it makes sense to go to the party, but in my body and just the information I got was no.
Mm.
So listening to that over and over again will start to help you. You'll start to train yourself to trust this part. And I call this, like, the soul. Like, this is the soul essence is, like, giving you this information, and it's not linear.
Mm.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've had to have that conversation with Ashley as well, where I'm like, I feel something very intensely, but it doesn't make sense to the brain. And I don't know how to incorporate the two because there's nothing wrong, but I feel like there's something wrong. And now I've gone back on the journey. You can sway sometimes on the road, but of just really listening, even when it doesn't make sense. My question, I guess, to that is, how can we begin to notice and shift out of just living in the brain and
Mm.
start really listening to what our intuition is telling us when we are not sure and when we want to have that kind of like, but I need a reason, I need a confirmation, I need like a thing to tell me that what I'm feeling is right, because I don't know how to listen, or how I don't know how to trust that voice within myself. Do you have any tips or anything in particular that people can maybe start noticing how to learn to trust themselves more?
Yes. What comes up for me when you ask this question is that there's a distinction between your mind, your a mental body, and your emotional body.
Mm.
And in your mental body is designed for solving problems, doing math, reading, getting knowledge.
Yes.
But it's not the body that's in a way designed for the information of your path of
Mm.
what you want and what your body like, yeah, it somehow is different. And
Yeah.
so most people have congealed the emotional body and the mental body, and so it's all you're like confused all the time. So in your emotional body, you have your feelings, your four core feelings. You have your fear, your anger, your sadness, and your joy. There's also a lot of other feelings that fit into these categories. There's feelings that get created when you mix two of those feelings, but just for simplicity of an example of like what you can do is that you can say, okay, I'm going to move from my mind to my feelings, to my emotional body, and I'm going to make a space. I'm going to, you could go in your room, you could sit with a friend, and you could say, I want to just feel my feelings. So you can start by saying, I feel angry because XYZ. I feel sad because XYZ. I feel afraid because XYZ. I feel joy because, and through expressing and feeling the feelings, you will get the information about what is really, you really want to do.
Mm.
And what's really what is in a way your intuition. It's like the intuition is like the combination of all of the bodies being aligned. And then once you really feel your emotional body with that gives you the information, then your mental body, you can talk to your mental body and say, hey, this is what we're doing, you know?
Mm.
Yeah.
And sometimes like, what do you need to feel safe about this? And then maybe your mental body's like, yeah, I need us to have a bus booked at 2 p.m. when we get there. And then, okay, you can like work with, it's like how to work with these different parts of you instead of resist them
Yeah.
or go against them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the more you
Works
do
a
it, the
treat.
stronger it gets. Like the
Mm.
connection there gets. Go ahead, Ash. Sorry.
You know, I'm saying it works a treat when you
Yeah.
actually go inwards. Works a treat for just understanding self so much deeper. Oh,
Mm.
I love that kind of guidance.
Yeah, and I really like for me something I really want to like bring to the world is that like we cannot be doing this alone. And the most
Yeah.
clarity I've ever gotten was because I had someone reflect back to me what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is that I've
Mm.
had like a friend or someone close or a colleague or anyone, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm stuck. Can you listen to me for 5 minutes?" And I just go into it, and then they can repeat it back to me, and then I can hear it. I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then through that, I'm like, "Okay, this is what's going on." Or I can share something that like, "Oh, basically what I heard you say was that you wanna go, on this trip," And before I'm like,
Mm.
"I don't know what I wanna do." So
Mhm.
it's really important because we really got conditioned into the lone wolf thing. Like, just
Mm.
do it your own, look in yourself, and and I really have found, like, the biggest evolutions have come from when I have confronted myself through other people.
Yeah.
Mm.
Absolutely. I used to actually really identify with that, the lone wolf archetype, like you said. When I was a kid, I was just like, no, I'm just by myself. I'm just a lone
Mhm.
wolf. Nobody can understand. Nobody can relate. But like you said, once community came together, and community is such a large part of healing, not just individually, but also as a collective. That's when the most beautiful moments in my life were created and the most growth within the soul.
Mm.
So I I'm 1,000% agreeing with everything you just said. You're incredible. I need to say that. I know we have a lot more to cover, but everything you've already mentioned is so enlightening and something people desperately need to hear now more than ever before. And I'm just very grateful that you're here today. So thank you for coming on again.
Thank you. You two are really creating a beautiful space.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
That means a lot.
And yeah, it
It's
does.
what we hope to do. It's the energy of comfortability.
Wow.
When we speak about relationships, because your work is also in that, in your experience, how do the survival patterns we form start to just interfere with our ability to experience true intimacy, polarity, presence, not just with others, but also within ourselves, within the romantic? I'm going to go ahead and just say within the romantic spectrum in particular.
Oh, yes. So your question is how do the survival patterns affect
Yeah.
the romantic relationship?
Yeah. How does it create the disconnect between two people who are in love, who
Yeah.
then eventually grow apart because of the survival patterns within ourselves?
Yes. So how does that happen?
Hmm.
Yeah. Um yeah, I guess from a meta perspective, what happens is that both people are quietly abandoning themselves to a point where you have lost yourself, that there's nowhere to connect. Like there's no meeting
Mm-hmm.
point anymore because you're not you and he's not him.
Yeah.
And then you there's that's it. Like you're out of yourself, he's out of himself, and you're looking for, because in relationships, like when when you look into someone's eyes and you're like, whoa, I feel something. What's
Yeah.
often happening is that they're mirroring to you. Like you're also looking at you. And so if you're hiding a part of you, if you're, you've lost a part of you, if you've given a part of you to him, if you're in the past, if you're, whatever, then when you're in this contact, it's like you don't even feel yourself. It's like
Mm.
you're losing this. And so the self is in a way the foundation of the togetherness. Um, and relationships need both closeness and they need space.
Hmm.
And yeah, like if there's too much closeness or too much space, then you lose the meeting points.
Yeah. For anybody who may not have been raised or been around or had the experience of what healthy feminine and masculine looks like, either as a woman, as a man, or whatever, is there like a baseline that you can kind of return to know where to essentially go? Because if you're just lost in the sauce and you're like, okay, I want to embody a healthier way of being, a healthier duality within me, how would you go about that? Do you think it's different for everybody, or is there kind of like a starting point that people can start to move towards?
Yes, I would say there's definitely some kind of like basic education, on the
Mhm.
energies that would be a helpful like starting point, which is, that the masculine energy takes action, pursues, and also holds space. So the
Mhm.
masculine is the container for the feminine to flow in and out and through. And so if you think about it like this, it's like, okay, so if I wanted to be in my masculine as a man, how can I hold space for be in my heart and take action on what I want and pursue what I want and take steps forward? And if you're a woman and you're like, I want to be my feminine, it's like, okay, how can you receive the penetration from masculine, not like no, I'm not talking physically, I'm talking more energetically, right? Like
Yeah.
receive this energy and um let it give me clarity about which direction I want to move or be. And feminine is really a surrendered state. It's a state of being like, it's like being the wildness inside of you, and it's an expressing energy.
Mhm.
So it's like, where can you be more expressive? Where can you be more like light from the inside?
Mhm.
Mm.
So it's like, it's in a way like starting to feel like, okay, where do these two parts of me exist inside of myself? And that would kind of give you a bit of a foundation for like, what's working. And I mean, also what I would say is like going to a training or working with a coach or doing something where you can get the teaching and also get feedback about it. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I can see in your body you're really in your masculine right now. Like, you're really in your, not your healthy masculine, but like your, so when I think of like unhealthy masculine in women, it's like this like hunched over tightness, like suppressed feelings. When you
Mm.
suppress your feelings, you have them inside of you, and they're and you're holding in. This is kind of like hurting masculine energy in a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's and also just to say, like, I think it's also a bit challenging. Like, there aren't so many examples. Like, when I was doing this, I was like, okay, who do I know that actually embodies this polarity healthy? And I was like, okay,
Right.
not my parents, not these people. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
it's required a bit of research, and like, okay, I'm gonna watch videos of people that embody it and like see how they move together, right? So it's like
Right.
he's saying
Mm.
something, she's receiving it, she's moving it, and so yeah, yeah, something like this.
Yeah.
Mm.
How would you say does the embodiment shift, or this embodiment shift the kind of masculine energy then that we attract or even allow into our lives when it comes to a significant other, once
Mm.
we have embodied it well or have some kind of like groundedness within self?
Yeah, it's pretty much the most amazing thing I know of on the planet. Like, as a woman, to be like chosen and adored and like penetrated by masculine energy is like, it's like a explosion of
Mhm.
magic, really. And the the how I've wait, can you ask the question again?
How does the embodiment shift the type of masculine energy we attract and allow into our lives?
Okay, yes. So it the masculine will become enthralled by you. It's like, what happens is the masculine sees you as a possibility. It sees you as like, there's, oh my God, there's space for me. So then, either if the man is into you, if we're just speaking like about one person, he will step in. You step out into your own energy, you mind your own business. Like I was saying at this festival, like I kept going in, I'm just in my energy, I'm radiating. He will then come, and you will have clarity of like, oh wow, he's into me. So what happens when you do this is you get clarity on like which one of these guys really likes you and which ones don't. Because as soon as you stop trying to get him, you will find out which ones actually want you. And like
Mm.
I remember in school, or it's okay, one more, I'll go to there in a second, but yeah, men will feel that, and either it'll be like, "Oh, fuck, okay, I gotta put my pants on and, like, step in if I wanna play with her," or he won't be interested and he'll walk away.
I definitely agree. It's interesting to find yourself in that space of being the one to keep making the moves, and the experience of not seeing yourself give yourself so much externally and to keep doing that, not realizing that you're giving so much of you and this power to a space that's not holding it in the way that it should be held.
Oh my
And when
god.
you realize that, when you come back to self and you realize, I don't need to be doing this, I don't actually need to be in this position, it's just a flow. It should be a flow. It's a very powerful thing, I'll say, for all of you as well, to realize that the chase, you don't need to do the chase. You know, it's not like the TV show. This
Mm.
is you just remaining in, as you said, in that letting you be in your space. It's not your business. I love that. It's not my business sort of thing. And just letting, all I keep coming back to is letting it flow. Letting it flow.
Yeah,
Not sacrificing self.
I love
Yeah.
that.
I was just thinking as you were speaking as well. There's been, I don't know how much you've seen this, but there's just been a lot of talk and discussion online about, like you said, people being in their unhealthy feminine that are men, and wanting to be chased in return. And then that polarity switches where women are the pursuers and men are the attractors and vice versa. And so I was just
Mm.
thinking, when you are in your own present self and you embody your space and you really fully live in who you are and you are the magnet,
Mm.
does it also then eliminate people who may not have the best intentions for you, who may just be mirroring you to get access to you? Do you think you have more awareness of that?
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's so good. Yes, that happens. That definitely
Yeah.
happens.
100%.
Yeah, yeah. And the men that are doing this, they in a way they have a wound with the feminine. So like
Mhm.
my sense is the root of this comes from having a distorted relationship with his mom as like the first feminine that you're in contact with, right? And he's looking for a mommy.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of women that are like, "Oh, sign me up for this job. I'm
Yeah.
gonna control you and tell you what to do and take care of you." And some men they maybe even didn't get this from their
Mm.
actual mom, and so they're in a way trying to complete this cycle.
Mm.
So it's interesting. It's like this perfect little like trauma bond concoction. Um, and I think most people in the beginning, in the first relationships in their life, they have some versions of this. You know, we all have incomplete things with both of our parents, and so it's in a way to kind of sort out some of that or complete some of it. Like I see a lot of healing is, I mean, healing is just as simply about completing the things from your past that were incomplete, that your soul needs the resolution. So it's almost
Mm.
like you're in a relationship with this kind of a person, you're mothering him, he's benefiting from it, but he's also kind of losing his energy, you're losing your energy. Once you transform out of that, you're like, wow, I really needed to do that to like complete some things and really, yeah, it was important for my soul.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've
Everything
physically
is
seen that.
energy.
Say again?
Yes. No, I was saying I've physically seen the need to be mothered.
Mhm.
And it's really interesting when you observe and you're aware of what it is and you think to yourself, wow, it literally, you know what I've seen like a 12-year-old in a 40-year-old man in
Mm,
that
mm,
moment
Mm.
come out. And
mm,
it's like they're not actually 12 years old, but the behavior
mm.
literally feels like a child or a
Yeah.
young teen. And maybe that is the exact age where they felt that maybe abandonment or the neglect or the lack of intimacy on that end. And it's just, oh my gosh, when you become so aware of it and you start to see it more and more, you're like, yeah. And when you said like it's like a concoction, I just pictured like a cauldron, just adding like fear of intimacy, like mother issue, mother wound, father wound, just like that whole thing. I
Yeah.
just had to put that in there too.
Yes, yes. It's like a perfect little recipe and each of us have through our soul journey is about like to me it's about like you can't avoid these interactions. Like
Mm,
and if you do avoid them or if you get stuck in them or you avoid them, you don't get the evolution your soul came here for. So for me, I'm really a supportive of like make a mess. Like if you're in something, I'm never like, oh, get out of it. It's like, no, you're in it because you need to heal something and learn something. And until you actually get the lesson, you're gonna repeat it with the next guy.
Yeah.
mm,
And that's where that's the work in a way is like to not shame yourself or blame yourself or feel bad if you're in a situation like this. It's like, okay, super, I'm here. Now, if you get the right support and have the tools and you can heal the dynamic in yourself, then you get to take an evolutionary leap through this. And yeah, I just wanted to say, like, I really I want to take away the like this is good and this is bad, or like don't do that or do this, because you might lose the being where you are and the medicine of that.
Mm.
That's
And I'm
beautiful.
more just speaking like out loud to the universe of this concept of good and
Yeah.
bad, and just feeling like, yeah, I want to let that into the world more.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's not black and white. It's all interconnected with one another, and it flows from one another. And like you said, it's medicine. I love that. I love that you just said that. That's so beautiful. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me ask you something. What do you define in your life now, and who you are now, and where you've come from, and all the evolutions you've had? What do you define as true healthy love now?
Hmm. True healthy love is when you are completely supportive of the other person's evolution, whether or not it includes you.
Mm, yeah, that was
Um,
beautiful.
yeah, it's this feeling of like mutual support, that like I want the best for you and for you to experience the evolution that you need to have in your life, even if it for a period of time might not include me or might not be about
Mm.
me at all.
Yeah,
And yeah, that's what I think is like real love for any person. Yeah. And specifically in a romantic relationship, that's yeah, sort of the unfantasy like experience.
yeah.
Mm.
You also speak beautifully about emotional alchemy,
Mm.
which is very deep and poetic. But could you maybe take us deeper into what emotional alchemy actually looks like in your work?
Yeah, absolutely. So, mm, like I was saying in the beginning, there we have our mental body and we have our emotional body. And so the emotional body is the inner compass. It's also the body that is the most wounded for
Mhm.
humanity, I would say, because the culture um, taught us and conditioned us to suppress our feelings and to be numb. So if you think about when you were a kid and you were crying, your parents will say, be quiet or don't cry. Or if you're angry, don't be angry. If you're afraid, don't be afraid. So over time, over, 20, 30 years, um, you condition yourself to just keep it in. So emotional alchemy is the process of bringing up and or handling an emotion when it comes up in order to complete it from your past so that you can go forward in your present now energy. So how it works in my work is that if we're working together and you come to me and you're like, oh, I'm upset, so that's usually how people start. Something's off, right? You're unsettled, and I say, okay, what feeling is it? And then we get to the feeling, and let's say it's anger, and you're like, I'm angry because my partner, he said this kind of weird comment to me and I didn't really understand and it was kind of mean and I'm just feeling really angry. And so I would say, okay, great. And so what we would do is we would actually let you bring the anger up more. So in therapy, for example, when you would say something like this, they say, oh, like, tell me more about it. It's like, and you would talk about it. But
Mm.
what I do as an emotional alchemist is I say, okay, go into actually feeling it. So then you as the person, you would be like, "Ugh, "Ugh," like, you would just start, like, letting the sound and the feeling to the point of, like,
Mm.
where at the level that you actually feel angry. So most of us, we start off like, "I'm angry about this," and then when you really go into your body, you're like, "Whoa, I'm actually, like, really angry," and there's a sound that matches that level that is big. And so when you let the sound out and you go into the place, you basically let the full cycle of the feeling complete itself. So when you let the anger come all the way out, you go all the way, and then even sometimes what happens is it brings you into the past, and you're somatically in the past, and you're like, "Whoa, I feel like I'm in my childhood bedroom when I'm 7." And you can see the whole experience. So it's like psychedelic, basically. You're realizing
Mm.
you're in connection with the actual moment that this feeling got stuck, and you're now having the opportunity to complete it. And then what I also do is I help you decide, you in through going through that process and being in that old experience, you make a new decision about yourself and your life that you didn't make back then, or you couldn't make back then. So you kind of, like, in a way, reprogram yourself by going back there as an adult. So then you've completed the anger, you've moved the anger, and then you realize when it's over, like, "Oh, actually, I'm not angry about at my partner. I'm actually was really angry about my uncle who did this one thing, and I never said anything." So then you would go back into the space the next day, and he does the same thing, and you realize, wow, you have no reaction to it. So that's how
Mm.
you've alchemized this anger. You've actually healed it, you've completed it, and it's gone in a way, this old anger.
Mm.
And then the other part of emotional alchemy is practicing and learning how to embody your healthy anger. So your conscious anger, your healthy anger is the energy of boundaries, of clarity, of saying yes, of saying no. And so once you it's kind of like these old, anger emotions are sitting on top of each other. And once you clear this one and, like, the top, let's say 20 of them, you'll start to get this ability to access this more adult version of anger. It's not screaming at anyone. It's not, hurting anyone's, yeah, you get it. You're just embodied, and you're able to hold yourself, and people respect you. Like, when
Mm.
you say no, people are like, "Oh, okay, got it." And before that, I've seen this so many times where a woman says no, but you don't feel anything, and so people walk all over you.
Yeah.
But when you embody your anger energy, you say no, like, you have a lot more agency, and
Mm.
people are, "Okay, yeah, she said no," you know? So those are kind of the 2 elements of emotional alchemy. It's like healing and empowerment.
Mm. I love
That's
it. I really
incredible.
do.
Yeah.
Talk therapy. Um, I think it's good in terms of bringing it to the voice and speaking it, but feeling it is just another way of healing that I think society just is starting to grapple a little bit better, but there's still obviously a roller coaster ride there in some forms. But feeling it is so interesting how it can get you to the root cause. As you were saying, it's not just the partner, it's the uncle, what the uncle said. It's like talk therapy can get you there too, right? But in some ways, the feeling is so deep within that you
Yeah.
realize the ripple effect of where it started originally. And you find that you bring that to the surface and you find healing through that too. And it's such a powerful thing. There's more to healing than just talk therapy, as Charlotte was saying. I think that's just so important to put that out there.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I think, like, talk therapy is like a step. It's like step 1, like, okay,
Mm.
know a bit about what happened and how, your traumas, your main things, but it does not get you, it's a step. And
Yeah,
then your feelings and your body is the next step.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
kind
That's
of
how I did it. Yes,
yeah,
Amazing.
it's kind of the element of like talk therapy is brain, and then emotional alchemy is you settling into the
yeah,
body and releasing that. Yeah.
it really is.
Yeah, because the body is really holding all the information. When you're with someone and you can just feel something's off, the way it's like, and
Mm.
it just it will be shown to you on their face or their body language or like anything. So it's there. So in your mind, if you solve it, but your body has not caught up to it, has not processed it, then you're like there's a mismatch, and then
Yeah.
people, they can't feel you. And actually,
Mm,
that's also a big thing in relationships. If you have a lot of emotions about your partner, the stuff you didn't express in the beginning, if you have resentment, if you're trying to get revenge, suddenly you're like in three different places, and then he's in three different places. And then again, where are you? Where do you really meet
Right.
when you're so, fragmented?
You also use astrology, right, as a tool for self awareness, not just in love, but also with embodying self. So I wanted to ask, how can understanding our birth chart, astrology, etc., help us see the karmic and or emotional lessons we're here to work through?
Great question. So I see the astrology chart similar, as I was saying, like, okay, talk therapy is kind of step one.
Mhm.
Astrology chart is in a way also step one because it sort of gives you the map of your
mm,
soul. Like, okay, what are you coming in here with? Why are you here? Where are the blocks? How to work through them? And so it gives you a bit of perspective on actually like what's possible for your soul, what archetypal, you know, magnitudes can you access? And it's like a expander for you. So it gives you the vision of like, wow, I could do all of these things, or I could really step into this energy, or I can embody this. So, how I use it is working with the North Node, the South Node, Pluto, and I mean, basically I look at the whole, work with the whole thing, but there's some specific things that give you like a bigger, more of a meta perspective or like an overview of your general direction.
Mhm.
Because for me, what I feel is valuable is to just is to really be in connection to your general direction of like of what service are you here to share? Like, not about getting it perfect every time, but it's like, for me, I feel really clear, like my path is really about being of service to masculine feminine relationships, and then how does that, or like two relationships, and then how does that look, what tools do I use, or like where do I go to learn more, and it might not always be exactly the same, but it's like I have this direction. And also like North Node Sagittarius, I'm a visionary, I'm a traveler, I have to be in the world, I have to be meeting people. So it's like I have the general compass of like, okay, go this way. And because I have that, I can just in any moment make a decision of like, okay, how to go to more, to get closer to my soul, to feel more of who I really am. And to not go back and like where I'm comfortable and where it's safe. And also it's about a bit of a regulation, because if I'm always out in the world and going and meeting people and always learning, then I'm not integrating it. So it's like, oh, then go back and kind of like take it easy. So I can use also my survival strategy sometimes to isolate myself and say, okay, I'm just gonna spend a week by myself. I'm gonna be lone wolf for a couple days. No problem. It's like
mm.
you work with your strategies and your soul energy together to kind of create like a general movement. And that's what I feel like astrology gives you, is like this general, and it can also be more specific, but like supporting the general direction of your path. Yeah.
That's awesome. What would you say to anybody out there who is listening or watching who may not be so knowledgeable, maybe well versed with astrology? Like, where could they start?
Well, I would say the first thing is to get a birth chart reading. Like, that would be kind of the first step if you don't know anything. Also, I recorded a podcast with this other woman where I went through all 12 of the signs, and I explained each one, the light and the shadow. And I would say that would be a really good place to start, whether you want to learn through that or just to study the 12 archetypes: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, da 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 da. and to just get a sense of what are they, because in a way these archetypes make up the full spectrum of consciousness.
Yeah.
And when you understand how they evolve into each one, or how they all kind of support each other, connect each other, polarize from each other, then that's a good foundation to start understanding your own chart. That would be like a good place to start. And you can also start doing this by asking your friends. You're like, okay, what's your sun sign? It's like, okay, Scorpio. And then oh, okay, and then you meet another person, Scorpio. Oh, I see how they kind of have something similar. And then you start to learn by just being in your community and working with people. And yeah, I think it's also fun.
Yeah.
Is that how you started?
Yes, I started when I was really young. I was a teenager. And I don't know how. I think in those, those like Teen Vogue magazines, they had horoscopes.
Yeah.
And I remember being, opening it, and I was like, "Oh, that's so me," or like, "That's so her." That's, whatever. And so I had kind of already this interest of it, but at that time it wasn't like a cool thing, it was kind of more random. And I had, yeah, somehow that kind of opened the door for me. And then when I was 18, I had someone gift me a reading. It was at the time, my boyfriend's mom, she got me a reading with one of these like world-renowned astrologers.
Oh.
And it was an in-person reading, and it was I feel like that was one of those, I could think of like a certain amount of times where it's like life path trajectory change, like boom. And being with her and getting this clarity about who I am, because before then I felt like I don't fit in, or like, why am I like this? And what astrology does is it validates who you really are. And so as she was telling me what I am, I'm like, oh my God, you're putting words to who I am that I didn't have the words for. And oh my God, I am like this. And okay, it's like it's okay to be who you are. So that really put me on this like path. And then from there, I was just reading books and studying and asking everyone, and like
You froze for a second.
You gotta love internet.
it was crazy we're breaking the internet.
Yeah.
We're used to it. So used to it.
So much wisdom in one place. Energy can't take
The
it.
internet can't cope.
Oh my God.
The FBI agents are listening to this and they're going, oh my gosh, can't cope.
Can't do it. They can't put this out there. It's too much.
Yeah.
No, revealing too much.
Oh, it's funny.
Yeah, if you can continue where you left off.
Okay, yeah, just to summarize, I started with my own curiosity, and then I was actually invited to by another kind of like famous whatever astrologer to mentee under her.
Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of this crazy again moment where I had booked a reading with her because I really resonated with her way of doing it, and she looked at my chart and she was like, "Oh, you have what it takes to be an astrologer. I'll teach you." And
So cool.
and yeah, I was like, "Okay, great." So that was really felt right for me at the time of like, okay, this is because I always since I was young, I was like, I think I want to be a therapist, or like a, you know, helping people, working with people, one-on-one sessions, whatever. So that kind of put me on that path a little bit. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy your work?
Yeah. Yes, I mean, it was hard in the beginning. Like I remember the first year of working with her, I was like, I don't get what she's saying. Like, what the fuck? Like these aspects and these lines, and, like I have to memorize all this stuff, and there's math, and I was like, oh no. And then, but yeah, I think the second year I was like really started clicking, and I started doing readings, and people were just giving me like, oh my God, that was the best thing ever happened to me. So I just felt like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. And yeah, I got confident and comfortable with it. And then, yeah, I love doing them. I offer them still. Like, I love working with people in this way and kind of, uh-oh, are we frozen?
No, everything's good.
No, we're thankfully all
Oh.
good. The FBI has stopped meddling.
And I was just gonna say too, those are like building blocks. Those were all building blocks to where you are today and the services that you offer now. So it's just
Mhm.
incredible that you said this was kind of like the moment where the trajectory of your life kind of changed, and to see you do what you do now and how it all fits. It's a beautiful thing. I always think seeing people really align with what they're supposed to do and how all the little puzzle pieces of life prior just interconnect with that is so amazing, so
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
I love hearing the
Mm,
stories.
All
yeah.
right.
Thank you.
Um,
It's yeah.
Go ahead. No, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I
Got
was
Melody
just
here.
yeah, really connecting to that, the how the journey goes. Like while I was in it, I was like, what's happening? None of this makes sense. Why is this, where am I being guided? And also trying to fit this into like, a business or like making a living for myself. I was like, okay, everything keeps changing and I keep getting new impulses and ideas and I'm always adding new things. And so it was like, I feel it wasn't until, the last couple of years where I had taken all of this to really figure out like what is my core offering,
Mm.
um, and just as like a way to say like it can take time, to like to find that, and it's important to like support yourself along the way of that becoming. Yeah.
And that's such a big journey in and of itself as well, because we when we desire something or when we feel connected to something, sometimes we want it to happen immediately, but there's like a growth process there that
Mhm.
needs to occur, and you grow into the role that you will ultimately, do or portray within your life. And yeah, thank you for sharing that, because I think a lot more people need to hear that. I hear so many of my friends as well, just I need to do this, I need to do that. I myself sometimes get into that loop, but it's like it can take time,
Aries.
and it's okay. It's okay.
I'm hearing you talk about the process and I'm sitting here going, I cannot stand the waiting.
What is your sun astrology signs?
Ash, you go first.
Yeah, I'm Aries.
Oh, I
I'm
knew
Can.
it.
I'm Cancer.
Please,
Oh,
I need to
amazing.
know how you do. I really need to know how you do.
When you said I'm just not patient about this, like the waiting, I can't stand it. I was like, Aries.
I give it away so easily with that. All I gotta say is I've got no patience. And like, oh yeah, you're an Aries, right? Or a Leo. And I'm like, oh, I gotta stop giving it away so easy. Next time I'm gonna say I have so much patience. I'm the most patient person on this planet.
Um, oh.
Oh,
Oh, and
Yeah.
Cancer Aries is also a really nice collaboration. Both cardinal signs and this like water fire um way. It has a nice synergy. I always notice this.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
flow with each other.
I mean, I've got
Can I?
I'm a rising Cancer, so
Oh, yeah.
when Nina and I first dived into astrology, I think that was the first, wasn't that the first realization, was sort of exchanging charts, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then
Mm,
we thought, oh
Yeah.
yeah, we saw why there was so much compatibility and why even just life stuff was just adding up to, oh, I've been through that too. You've been through that as well. Okay. Shared trauma. Here we go.
yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you had those experiences, Charlotte, where you've met people and you realize, oh, okay, you have this in your chart, so do I, and then you realize there's so many similarities from your life experience?
Oh my God, absolutely. I it seems like some of us incarnate in soul groups where like we have
Mm.
all somehow experienced similar traumas, similar incompletenesses from our childhood. Sorry, I'm sitting on
Yeah.
a bouncy ball.
I actually thought that too because you were bouncing before, and I thought, is she on a bouncy ball?
Uh, that might also give away what sun sign I am.
Are you Aquarius?
No,
Oh man.
I
Oh,
like
I want to try and guess. Are you,
Ah.
I can do this. Are you Pisces?
Close.
Ooh, you're
Close.
close. So
Well,
I'm
I'm kind
thinking
of I'm a
water.
chameleon. I'm a bit of a chameleon.
I love it.
Are
I want to
you
be a chameleon.
Gemini?
It's
I'm trying to remember all the star signs too, which is even a
the same as one of it's the same as one of you.
Oh, you're a
Cancer.
Cancer? No,
Are you an Aries?
Aries. No way.
I need a bouncy ball now. I need a bouncy ball too.
Get your bouncy ball.
I fidget a lot sometimes, so sitting on a bouncy ball would be superb for me. Oh my gosh. Hello, fellow Aries.
Here we are. Here we are.
Fire
Yeah,
and water, like the Avatar.
Yeah.
yes. And I say I'm a chameleon because I'm really close to the Pisces cusp, which is not actually how I practice astrology, but all of my Aries energy is in the 12th house of
Okay.
Pisces.
Yeah.
So
What does that
I feel
mean?
so yes. So the houses are where the energies are expressed in our lives.
Mm,
So the 12th house is the metaphysical house. It's the house of the subtle realms, the unseen, meditation, like the energetic realm. So I'm navigating with my Aries energy, my initiation, passion, can't sit still. Um inside of the realm of spirituality and subtleties and unknown, right? So
mm,
it's kind of like I have this like fiery energy, but I'm really bringing it into the relational, metaphysical, unseen spaces.
Yeah.
mm,
So it can kind of come off. It also is like if you have a lot of any planets in the 12th house, it's usually like you hide these parts of yourself, like they're more inside and it's not obvious to people. So they wouldn't
Mhm.
guess I'm an Aries. People usually guess I'm a Pisces or a Cancer because I'm actually inside like this, but it's like it's not obvious on the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mm.
So it's like parts of you that you hide and like keep inward more.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I love that. Because that would have been my second guess is Pisces, but
Yeah, I
Everyone you
definitely
said
wouldn't
that,
guess
yeah.
Aries.
Yeah. It's this interesting yeah.
yeah.
It is. I have a question. I've heard people say that we are more our rising sign than our sun sign. Do you agree with that?
No. I don't think we're more any I wouldn't like that question is like because I think
Mm,
we are a combination of all the planets.
mm,
I don't even think there's like priority to one. It's just that different different parts of us come out in different environments. So for if you're in a romantic relationship, it's your Venus energy is out, right? So
mm,
like then it's there. And if you're more doing your purpose, your sun energy. If you're more like on your edge, growing into yourself, you might feel more of your rising energy come out.
Mhm.
So it's like
mm.
different situations, yeah, pull things out.
That's
Yeah, I
really
agree.
awesome to hear because I agree. I don't really sign up to the whole thing of like you are your sun sign and that's your only identity. And because there's so much more.
Mm,
All the planets are there for a reason. We don't need to just stick with the sun, you
mm.
know?
I love it. Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing about astrology is like I don't for me it's important that it doesn't become a limiting thing of like I'm an Aries so therefore I'm this way and I block myself from being other things, because
Mm,
we have like yeah, all of the things and inside and um yeah.
We're capable of so much and embodying so much. And
mm,
I would like to bring our conversation a little bit back to being met in love or being truly met in love, real quick.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm not going to say there's a large discussion around this, but I am curious to hear what you think. or what you believe. And do you think the kind of healthy true love that you described earlier can arrive before we've quote unquote fully healed? Or does it tend to come after certain inner shifts that have been made? Do you think it's possible on the opposite end to have healthy relationships and not be fully healed within?
Yes. So I think that um it's so unique per person that I wouldn't generalize it, but
Yeah.
some general themes can speak to that I've noticed is that um if two people are both committed to their own evolutionary path and doing their work, you can use the relationship as a place for healing, and the relationship itself can transform with time. And you could start off being codependent and needy and in the wrong energies, and you can both do the work and you can actually turn it into a healthy relationship. Absolutely. And I also believe or have sensed that there's some healing work that can only be done on your own, and that it might mean that you do need to break up so that you can get to that level in yourself so that you can hold. It's like it's about how much can you hold in healthy energy. Because most people, the comfort zone is like low drama, blaming, rescuing, victiming, na 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 na. And so sometimes you have to leave the relationship or leave the energy to then go on your own path to embody a higher level of of relating, really. And then you can meet someone new, and then now you have new training, new matrix to be able to hold a new level of this. So I see it as kind of for your own, it's like depending on your own personal journey. And again, it just comes in like, okay, for yourself, like how will it work for you? And to go in that direction, which is like I've been in a situation where I've been like, fuck, you know what? I actually think the real evolution in this situation is to stay and to confront myself inside of the relationship and to grow through that. And maybe we do decide to break up after that, but either way, it feels like it's actually more the way is to stay. And there's been some situations where I'm like, this is actually just not that's not going to bring me into a healthy relationship with him, or even just like, this is just really not the person I want to be with, like just period. So yeah, I think like you don't need to wait until you're a certain amount of healed to like start being in a relationship with people, because being in relationship with people is the place where you get to get the best feedback for your healing. So use it for that. And maybe it turns out that you don't end up together, but because you said yes, you did a new layer for your path of healing.
I love that. It's I totally resonate with what you said and that whole sentiment because I think, I don't think we were meant to live in isolation or apart from one another. I think we're meant to be in community. And even outside of just romantic relationship, I've always felt that we heal through being in connection to each other, whether that be in romantic love, platonic, whatever. We can't evolve as a singular entity because everything is connected. And yeah, I really needed to ask that question because that conversation has come up so many times, even within personal conversation with other people. And I want to shake people and say, listen, you can love and not be fully healed, but like you said, there has to be an awareness there to see what is right and what is wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I don't know if are we ever fully healed, Like to
Right.
me, the foundation is that you have the tools and the resources and you're committed that when something comes up, you know how to take care of it and take care of yourself. And that's it, And then
Yeah.
from there you can live your life.
Yeah.
Something I also like really like to distinguish in my work is like I don't do it because I want you to heal. It's not about healing. It's actually about you saying, I want to live the life I want to live. And as you take steps towards going for what you want, blocks are going to come up and triggers are going to come up, and then that's the reason to do the healing. Because if you're just healing for healing's sake, it doesn't put you on the path, I feel, of really following your soul's purpose. But like, I really want to live my calling. I'm really going to go forward with my life. And you go, and then what I do is I help you along the way so you can get there and you get to heal because you're choosing the path of yourself. And I just feel this is a way to live that creates aliveness and fun and like not always like, oh, more healing, poor me, this horrible thing, my trauma. Like otherwise you get stuck in your own stories.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wow. Wow. If someone listening has never really felt seen or has embarked on this journey, or this is like their first time listening in and hearing your work and who you are and what you do and what you have to offer, what is something that you would want them to hear right now?
Hmm. Hmm. Begin again. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I love that. It's never too late to start over or to choose different or better.
Yes, yes. It's like you there's this phrase, you have infinite do-overs in life.
I love that. That's beautiful.
And right, it's just this thing of like, yeah, you can just wake up and like, hey, today I'm gonna do it different. Like, boom,
Mm.
that's it. I'm gonna just begin again. Like, you could have listened to this whole thing and like, wow, I've been adapting in my relationship, and I've lost my center here. I've been suppressing, and then, but it's not. It's an opportunity to say, okay, I'm gonna start again. And
Yeah.
yeah.
And as a final like closing,
Mm,
what is maybe for people who are already walking the journey, who've had the taste of polarity and emotional sovereignty and wholeness and healthy soul level love,
mm.
um, what helps? Do you have anything to recommend or to suggest to people in order to stay anchored in it in real life, in everyday life?
Let's see. I think it's a bit personalized to you of like what makes you feel like yourself and what makes you remember. For me, for some people, like creating a dance practice, having a meditation practice, having an anger practice, which is a big one. It's like
Mm,
you set a timer for 3 minutes and you grab a towel and you bite your tongue and you just
Mm.
you let yourself get into this energy. Okay, and it gives you, what do I really want? What do I not want? Um, so I would say, like, how can you create the thing that I can say is create a ritual, a regular daily touch point that's only for you and your inner space. Because if you don't first fill yourself, you can't really be authentically in relationship with someone else. Um, So yeah, and just finding the small ways, like I not it's not about a big thing or like a big 3 hour, it's just like 5 minutes, 2 minutes, like what is that for you? Yeah. And
mm,
also have a practice of centering, of like closing your eyes, checking in to see where, like we could do it right now if you want.
yeah,
Ooh,
love to.
yes, please.
Okay, perfect. So close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose and out your mouth. And start by taking note of where your energy and attention is right now. So let's say you might notice 30% of my energy is with someone else, or you might notice 50% of my energy is in my head, or 10% is in the future, or 3% of it's just kind of floating outside my body. So just take note of where your energy and attention actually is right now. Great. And usually what I would do if I was, in a one-on-one space with someone is that I would ask them to say it out loud, like, okay, yeah, 30% of my energy and attention is with my partner, 10% is with this thing that happened yesterday. I'm thinking about it, or like this. So you can say it out loud to yourself, you could write it down, but usually it's enough to just be aware of it. So now the
Mm.
second part is to hold your hands out like you're catching water, like a bowl, and use your intention to draw all of your energy and attention into your hands into a ball. So just use your breath. Some people use maybe a little bit of anger energy, like to kind of really call it back to you. So put it all of your energy and attention into your hands. Like you're now holding your power in your hands. You're holding your energy in your hands. And now gently take this ball of energy and place it just an inch below your belly button and hold your hands on your low belly. This is your center, the physical center of your body. It's also the energetic center. And when you put your energy and attention here on your center, and it's kind of, like in the womb space, around the womb space, you might notice that you feel much different in your body. So you just take note, wow, do I feel more calm? Do I feel more relaxed? Do I feel safe in my body? And again, if you're doing this with a friend or if you're with yourself, you can out loud say, wow, I feel grounded, I feel safe. So if either of you want to share, like what happens for you now? How do you feel now? You can keep your eyes closed if you feel comfortable. Yeah.
I
I feel more
personally,
grounded.
yeah, same. I feel a lot more
Mm.
calm, a lot less like staticky friction energy. It's a lot more centered. It's a lot more in one area, a lot more concentrated, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, great. And so this is a practice you can do as many times a day as feels necessary to truly be centered again. It's like, now,
Yeah.
okay, I'm back in my body. And okay, one more little exercise to practice. So
Mm.
close your eyes again one more time and just connect to your center. Really like go in and down. So like you're really focusing on your center. Now I'm going to count down from 3. And when I get to 0, open your eyes and practice keeping your energy and attention on your center and making the connection to us and the screen. So see if you can remain centered while also being in connection with me and each other. All right, 3, 2, 1. Open the eyes. Just breathe. It's like we don't need to smile. We don't need to look a certain way. We don't need to prove anything to each other. It's just like, hey, I'm in me, you're in you. Here we are, seeing each other, and yeah, and here we are.
Mm.
Okay, so that's the end of the practice, and this is how you can embody being centered and also being in connection with other people. And I think I saw it in your faces and in your eyes, like you get the sense of what this takes. It's
Mm.
not easy. As soon as I
Yeah.
walk out there and I see my partner, the old instinct is like, just give the center and, do like this. And then it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. And then really quickly, like, woo, 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 woo. And then you can kind of
Mm.
reorient yourself to this. So, yeah.
That was,
Thank you
and
for that.
yeah, that was really
Truly.
beautiful. And I love that you showed us. Thank you so much. I will definitely keep doing that. And for
You have a
anybody who's
meditation
also,
voice.
yeah,
Yeah.
for anybody who's watching, they can definitely benefit from it as well. I
Mm.
absolutely love talking with you today, Charlotte. I don't know if you feel the same way, Ash. I'm pretty sure you do.
100%. Truly, I feel meditated right now. I
Yeah.
love those little quick practices where you set recenter. I feel like I just went through a 20-minute meditation.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you both for having me and for this really nourishing, beautiful space, and I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very
Before we
grateful as
wrap
well.
up,
Thank you.
are there any upcoming events or offerings or ways people can work with you that our listeners should look out for?
Yes. So the first way you can work with me is you can book an astrology reading, and that's kind of like the starting point of where we see what's going on for you. And then what I do is I create a personalized plan for your healing and your transformation starting from there. And I am enrolling for my signature coaching program. I don't love this language, but I haven't figured out a better language. Um, which is a 6-week initiation where you go through the threshold from your survival strategy into your soul energy. So I would love to welcome anyone who wants to go on this journey. It's a one-on-one space, but we'll start at the same time as a couple other women. And so what I usually do is I'll also connect you with each other. So it's kind of like a group one-on-one journey. So that will be starting like the next 2 weeks. There's like enrollment period and then we'll kind of start. So for anyone that wants to do this work and be supported through it, yeah, I would love to hear from you. And you can just simply send me a message like, hey, I'm interested. I want to learn more. And we'll jump on a call and I'll tell you about it.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I'm also I'm planning to make an in-person event where we can get together and we can do all this like wild, crazy work together.
Mm.
So that will also be posted on my socials when I have that organized.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. We'll definitely have the links down below so everybody can sign up and follow you on socials. And yeah, it's going to be amazing. You've brought so much just to this episode alone. I can only imagine how amazing working with you actually is. So thank you so much for sharing it with us, for sharing yourself with
Thank you.
us and on our platform. And yeah, we definitely wish you continued success and continued involvement in all ways and love and peace and just all of it. You deserve it.
All the goodness.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Gratitude. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank
And that's
you.
it, guys. You can come back the next time we upload, next Sunday, whenever that will be. But thank you so
Fortnightly.
much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, bye.
Until next time. Bye.
Bye.